I manage a cattle operation for a fellow called Nick Mather, who's based in Brisbane. I live at property Manumbar, look after several other properties. We've been expanding over a period of time, the last few years, predominantly a Brahman herd here at Manumbar, putting Charolais bulls over them. We bought a property at Jindawi where we run Charbray breeders and we have our Angus bulls there. So basically we've got the two major breeding operations being Manumbar and Jindawi. We've now leased a property at Cunnamulla. The overall plan is to take all the breeders from Lindley, the property at Jindawi, to Cunnamulla, the property there will run approximately 3,000 cows, and keep our Brahman herd here and continue to breed here because this country is more suited to breeding, and use the Jindawi place purely as a fattening property, growing about 4,000 acres of forage crops yearly to supplement so we can feed all year round. Well, Manumbar is in the tick area, Lindley's in clean country. Our management here is centred around a lot of dipping, a lot of control of ticks, hence the reason we carry a Brahman herd. Lindley's clean, so that's why we've gone black over there. Oh yeah, it's definitely weight gain country. If we can put our wean them and put them straight onto an oats crop and then put them back onto grass after the oats crops run out, then put them on their next oat crop, they should be finished at 18 months old as fairly heavy steers. We joined about 3,400 females this year, and then that should grow to about 4,500, 5,000 next year. Well, the output goals are to wean everything onto a truck at the Cunnamulla property, so all of those weaners will come back to Lindley, where they will go onto pasture and or forage and or oats, and just try and grow them out to a heavier steer rather than sell them as weaners. Well, we're actually aiming for a premium grass-fed market. Is where we're wanting to head. That's the future of where we're trying to be.
So, Mike, just tell us a bit about your involvement with this cattle company.
I've been involved with Miles and Nick Mather for a number of years now. My main involvement has been assisting them with their bull buying and their bull purchases, and of late the last few years we've been buying our bulls mainly from the Ascot stud of Jim and Jackie Wedge. We're really happy with those bulls. They just have a wonderful temperament. They're number one for quality, and they're able to breed an animal that can lay down a little bit of fat at a very early age. They can fatten to meet those specs that Miles is talking about with the grass-fed trade. So yeah, Ben, we're pretty happy with those bulls, but that's how my involvement came about.
We put the Charolais bulls over the Brahman cows here. We get a nice Charbray heifer calf. We then send it off to go over an Angus bull, so those Angus cattle, those black cattle have still got a little tiny bit of Brahman in them, and they're a bit more mobile, they're a bit more adaptable to probably the hot climate at Cunnamulla where they're going to be. I think it's just important to keep that bit of hybrid growth in your cattle.
Certainly with the Ascot program, some of the selection criteria have been around, high 400-day weight, positive fat cattle.
Yep.
There's a lot of records with both the Angus and the Charolais. Do you see that as a benefit to your breeding herd?
That's a massive benefit to our breeding herd. Like Jim and Jackie do an amazing job with that, especially with the Charolais cattle. That's a bit hard to judge from a lot of places, and it is very important. And I think it's going to become more and more and more important that you've got to have that 400-day growth, as you said, and the high fat scores, and
yeah,
it's just going to be something that's imperative to have.
When we were at Lindley yesterday, it was, I think, 42 degrees. One of the things we observed there was, the Angus bulls out in that climate were still working. They were still following the cows. Do you find that, especially I suppose from buying yearling bulls or younger bulls, do you think they're adapting well to this climate?
Well, they adapt to the climate very well there compared to here, because of the so much less humidity. But they certainly, Jim's bulls come from a fairly hot place anyway, so they are very, very adaptable. We've had no trouble with bulls not operating. They're out and about and Very, very mobile, very busy.
The temperament of your calves seems excellent.
Well, and that's coming, in a lot of cases, not from the mother.
Yeah.
That's all down to Jim and Jackie's bulls, most definitely. Yeah, they are very, very quiet bulls.
Mike, tell me, what do you think some of the potentials are for the progeny being sold off this aggregate of?
Well, Ben, really it's unlimited. We're only limited by carrying capacity, but Miles and Nick have got a goal to shoot for of around that 5,000 cows, and you know, where they go from there will depend on the availability of country. They've got their target set for meat supply into that grass-fed job. It's getting stronger and stronger. There's great premiums out there, and I think one of the big things is that we've got to look at our meat quality, and that's one of the reasons that we're very keen on the Ascot blood and the Ascot bulls. They maintain that meat quality, and that's really what the game's all about.
How important do you think genetic development is going to be for the future of the beef industry?
Oh, massive, especially on that fat score issue. I think genetics genetics are just important in all aspects of it, no matter what you're doing. But if you don't have that gene trait in your cattle, well, you're not going to be able to meet the market expectation.
Phenotype is very important, and we like the soft, easy-doing bulls. We like bulls with a lot of meat in them, and then we go to the genetics, and then we go to the figures.
Well, guys, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much, Ben, and thank you to the Ascot Cattle Company for being supportive to us and helping us out with all of what we're trying to do.